officially live here. Hello and welcome everyone to what we will call my bullshit. Uh, with that being said, little couple of little things I want to get out of the way. We do have one cast member that is not joining us today because health is a good thing, and if you're not feeling up to playing a game, you should take care of yourself, and that's what we encourage. So they will be with
Heck
us
yeah.
next week, hopefully. Um, that being said, a couple of things I want to get out of the way with this game. I know my players' lines and veils. If anything does come up in the middle of play, I will adjust accordingly. My players' comfort is far more important to me than any type of story that I am going to tell. So, getting that out of the way. However, my players are aware of what type of story this likely will be. Um, and for all of you out there, I want you to understand what this story might be. Star Trek Intelligence is not going to be exploring the vast stars or making your home all the way from a different quadrant or something of the like. Instead, this is going to be a story about people more than anything. This is a story about the people and not the setting. So, what can you expect? You can expect things like you can expect the harsher tones every now and again that Deep Space Nine had, and some of the lighter tones because levity is a thing that needs to happen. However, with that being said, before we begin, do any of you have any particular uh, announcements, plugs, or anything that you wish to do here?
Well, I am Silver Sugar, aka Risa. I will be playing Kavai today. You can find me on Twitch and Tumblr as X Silver Sugar, and I also do art. And so please feel free to commission me. That's my plug.
Okay. Anyone else?
Or I can try. I mean, I'm Little Legend, gonna be playing Mirror today, and I am not on Twitch at all, but I am on Tumblr as Little Legend underscore art, or no, slash art. Damn, my first time plugging myself. Now I'm already doing it shitty.
You're good.
So yeah, I do commissions. They are extremely cheap because I am new, and I hope I meet you there.
All right. Uh, anything else?
Hi, my name is Slay, pronouns they, them. I'll be playing Kate, she, her, she, they. Um, you can find me on Twitter at sons underscore of underscore warvan. I'm no longer an aspiring TTRPG performer. I am a TTRPG performer. So that's a good day for me.
All right.
Heck yeah. Also, I go by she, they as well.
Okay. I have it underneath in the
Oh, nice.
Twitch too. I made sure
Thank
to
you.
get everyone's
I
pronouns
appreciate
because
that.
that is important. Pronouns are important. I'm not kidding. It's not hard.
Hell yeah.
My name is Zaz. I'll be playing Clary Silerton, and I don't have any particular plugs. I don't have any social media, actually.
You were the sane one.
The far wiser than all of us.
Yeah. Wise
You know,
choice.
yeah,
Social media, it's a
absolutely.
scary place. Oh man, intelligence
For real.
division, social media division. No, we're not. You know what? Maybe if we get to a certain point, I'll do a lower decks one shot. And we can do something like that. But for now,
That would be so much fun.
For now, we will, I guess we'll just begin jumping into this story. What do you think about that, gang?
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Let's do it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Yay.
All right. Let's do it. Welcome back. The planetary log, and today is stardate 62096.92. To the uninitiated, that is February 4th, 2385. A lot is happening in the galaxy at this time. Currently, there is a massive relocation effort of the citizens of Romulus, as the binary star system will be going supernova in the next year or so, give or take. This is, of course, a few years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, so Romulan allegiance is... it's better. Still testy. But more importantly, to our friends over at the Streampunks, and particularly our Ox crew and RP server that has been archived. The events of Clear Skies and the USS Ross have concluded, and her crew has gone off to do amazing things. However, not all of the crew stories are complete. The Ox crew and some of their stories, they live on. Today is a particularly calm day, for the most part. Aside from the phaser fire erupting in deep space. The planet, unnamed, and specifically only has the name of G0822. A Type 9 shuttle ducks and weaves, spins and cartwheels through this planet's atmosphere. Another ship, unseen, attacking. Phaser fire, disruptor fire, we don't know. Inside the shuttle, a young Bajoran woman, not a Starfleet officer, but rather a Starfleet Marine. She is, if we were to cast her, she would be played by Catherine Newton, as she is furiously going through each control, shouting orders to the computer's automated systems, as the shuttle itself begins a warp jump, a risky procedure from an atmospheric place. However, understanding the risks, she initiates the code and the authorizations. The Type 9 shuttle erupts into a warp-traveled state. And the transponder to the shuttle has disappeared. Not too many light years away, it's a sunny day in Madrid, Spain. The weather is fairly nice out. People move through the smells and aromas of breads, bakeries, foods, street foods, flowers, the casual din and uproar of people going about their lives. In this moment, seeing as someone is a little bit newer to this situation, Commander Jaloryn, please describe yourself and where we would find you at this time.
Commander Jaloryn is of average height. She has tanned skin. She's clearly indigenous descent. She has a tattoo on the left side of her face that starts from her temple and arches over onto her forehead. She has long black hair. It's braided up in a classic French braid down her back, and she is currently putzing around, setting things up in her field office, her command office.
Okay.
Settling things and making sure that she likes where they're at.
Okay. What does your office look like? And to our lovely audience that has graciously graced us with your presence, rather than just have also descriptions, I as a GM went a little bit above and a little extra. As we have right over there is Commander Jaloryn. But yes, please describe your office, how you've set it up, and for those who don't know, being that this is somewhat a planetary setting, the office is the equivalent of a ready room to some degree.
It's a bit reminiscent of the Intrepid class ready room. She's got a sitting area you walk in the door and the sitting area is off to the left. She has a couch and a couple of comfortable chairs around a small table. Straight ahead is her desk. It's fairly large. It's got a couple of desktop type screens on it. Behind her is a couple of art decor pictures, and to her right, there's some a large monitoring screen. It's got a bunch of different things on it all at once. That's kind of scrolling through a number of different things, and on either side of that screen are a couple of shelves with some pictures and some plants on it. Something a little artsy. It's like overall, it's tastefully minimalist, and clearly, the colors are very comfortable and welcoming.
Okay, less is more in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you're kind of going around setting things up, this is an interesting command for you, particularly because originally you didn't really want to do it. However, certain individuals are very persuasive. Not persuasive enough for you to not get your way with this particular field office. as you're setting up, there is a incoming transmission from San Francisco.
Commander Jaloryn here. Go ahead. And I just move over to one of the desktop monitors.
Okay. There is a older gentleman, graying hair, kind of a probably in most days is a somewhat clean-shaven beard and done very well, is Rear Admiral Elias Nevrin. He is the assistant director of the Atlantic Field Office of Intelligence. Generally speaking, the director is usually doing so much that you don't interact with her very directly. However, Admiral Nevrin is someone who you will probably interact with more than the director. He is the assistant director, as I said, and he would be cast by Gary Cole. As he looks a little tired, as it's late in San Francisco and it is early-ish, late-ish morning for you. How are you settling in, Commander?
She briefly looks up and looks around, and she does a nod. And I think things are settling in well here. Most of the personnel are arriving, and they're getting settled as well.
I looked at your team's files. So you sure about that team? I can requisition people who are more.
She quirks an eyebrow at him, but meets his eye solidly. I'm confident in these people.
I'm glad to hear it. Well, I have to deal with I'm giving a seminar at the intelligence branch of Starfleet Academy, so... Well, good. Just checking in as a courtesy, Commander.
Thank you, Admiral. And best of luck with your presentation.
I haven't slept yet.
I can tell.
Sometimes you're a little too perceptive for my liking. Good luck. And the transmission flips off. Is there anywhere in which you would like to go or do at this current time?
Not immediately. I think she's gonna finish polishing off her setup and do a quick check of what's going on elsewhere. As far before she leaves the office and decides to do a walkabout.
Okay. Going over the checks, everything seems to be in order. Some of the, particularly one thing that has changed, and it seems to be a last-minute change, something that you didn't really have, control over for the most part, is the chief physician of this facility has in fact changed, as the other physician could not be stationed here, as they were recruited to serve aboard the USS Sovereign, which, for that to kind of be taken from you, means it came from someone way higher up.
Well above her head, yep.
Yep. It's not unlikely to assume that probably a 4-star or 5-star admiral did this, which you have a little bit of punching power when it comes to Vice and Rear Admiral, a little bit. 4 and 5-star, not so much.
Nope.
But looking at the file, you have seen. It's a promising record. Lieutenant Commander. Let me double check because I don't remember all these names because I'm a crazy GM. Yep. Lieutenant Commander Olivia Bryn. She is definitely up there in age at about 60 years old. And you can see the image file for her being portrayed by Sigourney Weaver. And there is something, and she has a track record for being difficult. Now, that's not a problem per se. You've dealt with difficult individuals before.
Multiple times.
Your problem comes from the field medic and physician's aide, who was originally supposed to work with the other person. Whom you know is just as stubborn in some aspects.
Stubborn, I believe, is polite.
Yeah. Alright.
She peruses that file real quick and she decides she'll head down to the med bay and see how the new CMO is settling in.
Okay. On that note, Ensign Mira Loris, where are you at this point in time? Are you at the facility or headed to it? You are muted if you cannot hear. Hold on. Little that is you.
Pardon?
Where are you at this current venue? Are you at the facility, settling in there, or are you leaving your apartment at this point?
Well, she did settle at the facility since, well, there wasn't much to settle. She really only had like a small bag and couple of things to place into order. She gave her surrounding room a look. She grabbed the book, made sure that everything looks empty as usual, and kind of just walked off.
Okay.
Since it didn't seem like anybody was really gunning to come over and get to know her or give her any tasks, she just made sure that people reach her and just walked out of the building.
Okay. On that note, we'll skip ahead. We can skip the walk over, as I don't think where you are there's any details worth of note at this time. You will have arrived at the Seoul Atlantic Field office probably later morning, and you are directed to head to the 4th floor, where you are to interact with your supervisor and superior, Dr. Olivia Bryn.
And so that's what she did. She, sorry.
Yep, no, continue.
She made sure to follow her directions and kind of basically whispering the name of the doctor to herself to make sure that she didn't forget the full name specifically and not just the first name.
Mm-hmm.
She walked to the door that she was supposed to walk to and kind of hesitated, like she's just supposed to knock, or there's like a button she still wasn't totally sure how to interact with the inner workings of the new place.
Yeah, that's fair. Getting to the fourth floor. Dr. Olivia Bryn is certainly not someone you would expect to deal with. She is, for one, some of her stuff in storage, medical equipment, they appear to be in what would equate to now mason jars. Um, as she's going through and just opening a medical equipment, tricorders and stuff. However, some of this medical equipment is archaic. There appears to even be a medical tricorder from probably the 23rd century. It looks like it's fairly well kept, but it this woman is not the model example of organization or propriety. She does wear the medical teal and has the white doctor's coat over it as she addresses you. You must be Ensign Loris, correct?
Yep, I'm here to help.
Perfect. I assume you know the difference between various medical equipments, medical tricorders, hyposprays, the like.
Yep, absolutely. I
Terrific.
am.
The hydrospanners can go up over there. The hypersprays, various dosage from 50 to 250 can go over there. And she just starts listing stuff off. Not paying you too much mind or heed. But in this moment, if you would like to describe yourself, Ensign Lois, you may.
All right. So, firstly, I would like to say that she doesn't really care that her entrance didn't get much of a reaction. Mira is actually kind of relieved that she wasn't getting the usual looks of "oh no, not this." Why? But because she has a very specific look to her. She is a tall woman of very, very strong stature, with a body covered in very visible scars. Her eye, one of her eyes, is kind of sort of has a black
Artificial, right?
artificial eye, yes, which is very visible and not at all. It's extremely hard to ignore. Uh, she additionally has very unusual blue freckles all over her cheeks, and just in general, she looks pretty imposing. Um, it's no wonder that when she was just entering the Starfleet, the picture that people use for her on her
On a record is a little different, yeah.
on her, yeah, it's a different one. It's definitely and clearly a very very made up one, which honestly Mira didn't even recognize herself on it.
Yeah, and
Though she likes to think that this is what she would look like if she didn't spend her entire life fighting for her life. So,
Alright, I will have that posted. Keep in mind that despite Starfleet being as progressive as it is, it still has its problems, and But that is right there. Is the good ensign. As you have entered, Mira, she does stop after a little bit and just stares at you for a long, uncomfortable, maybe 10 seconds. My apologies, did you get in a fight on the way here?
On the way here, do my wounds look fresh? I mean, no, I was pretty sure I healed nicely. I promise I am pretty capable. You can actually see it because she can handle most of the heavy equipment on her own without much of a trouble lifting it.
You know what, Ensign, I have a better idea. Stop whatever task
Yes.
I had you do, and let's, you and I, go to the... Yeah, why don't we just do a walk around? You and I can get to know each other a little bit, and I know I come off as... how did my record state it? She lifts up a pad and flips through it. Transference requested by commanding officer for disciplinary... Really? That's in the record?
Yeah, you'll be surprised what they put on the record now.
Yeah. Alright, well, either way, I think you and I are going to get along swimmingly, or we're not going to get along at all. And I'd rather figure this out in the next 20 minutes or so, rather than 2 weeks from now.
Oh yeah. Fair enough. Suppose it would not do us no right to just ignore each other or something. So, of course, let's do it.
Perfect. Well, then, this place has a kitchen, right? Why don't we just do that?
Yep. Let's. She left a little bit nervously, trying not to be too enthusiastic and energetic about whatever is happening.
Mhm.
She's not very good at socializing in the new environment, but she's clearly trying. She does look sort of happy that a person doesn't just decide to ignore her or just keep some prejudice about her.
Alright. As you two head off to do that, there is a different occurrence happening on, I believe it is it the... Yes, it is... Yep. On the sub-level, as a young, Starfleet individual, begins to make her way to her posting. Kavai, how do you think you got here? Walking, transporter, shuttlecraft?
It depends on what my orders were for the
Report
day.
to sub-level Starfleet Intelligence Forensics Lab.
I would have definitely walked in that case.
Okay. Walking there, any stops that you want to make? Or just heading straight there?
Kavai, when in work mode, is very practical. She would not have made any stops. She would have eaten breakfast already and all of that jazz. But what people would notice is on her way in, she is carrying a pad on her arm and in the same hand a book, and appears to be reading and writing at the same time. She stands at around 5'8", and her skin is a very unique lime green color with yellow undertones. She also has a smattering of dark green and very light blue speckles, almost like spots across her skin. And to those that know her would recognize that she wears a different hairstyle almost every day. Appears to be that she has quite a large collection of wigs, but today she is in her natural hair, which is a long dark green with blue strands in it. Almost like she's going prematurely gray, but it appears to be light blue instead. Her eyes are bright blue and hidden behind a pair today of very Coke bottle style glasses. She looks young, around maybe 27, give or take. And most would clock her immediately as Orion, given her skin complexion, but her very large pointed ears give her away as being something more, and she's also Vulcan.
Mm-hmm. All right, then I believe we will feel that art. There we go. All right, halfway there. Getting to the sub-level, there is... You will quickly discover that, like, typing in a code to try and enter is an immediate denial. As it just... As the computer beeps back at you in protest.
I narrow my eyes. Is there anything I can do to try and force my way in?
Yes, there is. You could do a... Let's double check really quick, because I want to make sure I have this right. But I feel like this... What do you think, gang? I feel like this requires a roll, doesn't it?
First roll. Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Alright, let me find what roll this would be. So, are you forcing your way in quickly, or are you more composed about it?
I think composed. She's still sort of like in her book and like almost idly trying to do it, like it's habit.
Okay.
Like she almost always has to break her way into this system.
With that, I think this is actually going to be an insight science roll. This will be a standard difficulty of 1.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to spend 1 point of threat.
Lovely. All right. So remind me again how I go about this. I take...
You'll take 2 d20s.
Okay.
You will roll both of them, and so long as you meet the combined score of science insight, which should be 15, or lower, that's a success. Any additional success past the difficulty is building momentum.
All right. Okay, I rolled a 15 and 7.
That's 2 successes, so you have 1 point of momentum banked.
All right. Ooh, I need a new slot to put that in.
All right. After going through a little bit, and rewiring, and you quickly discover part of this field office has, as new as it is, the sub-level, like many things, has been a little bit ignored. The computer kind of code for this particular door and access entry, it's 25 years old. So for you to get through to this is relatively, given that what you've had to do in the past, it's a little bit of child's play. You've done this a little bit before.
Yeah, the first time I was sweating bullets. Now I've got this down.
Mm-hmm. However, the sub-level is a little intimidating as there's no turbo lift. It's primarily just about 2 flights of stairs. Metallic, and maybe a little bit too narrow.
Yeah, by the time I reach my destination, she's a little bit out of breath. Almost every day. It doesn't matter how long she takes this route. Kavai is not a physically fit person.
Mm-hmm. Getting down, you are greeted by 2 individuals, a tall-ish, somewhat well-built Vulcan man and a younger human woman. This is the man is Lieutenant Yana, who you probably assume is the person who summoned you here. The human woman is Ensign Vasya Petrovich, and they are played by Colin Farrell and Emma Stone, respectively, as they both kind of are both watching you as you come down, and Vasya seems to be the most entertained by your arrival.
For the player, may I get both of those names spelled for me, please?
Yes, Yana is Yana. And this one I'm gonna copy paste in the Discord because
Fantastic.
if I try and spell it from memory, I am going to wither and explode.
Very fair. And their ranks one more time, please. I take notes a little slow.
Vasya is a ensign. Yana is a lieutenant.
Lieutenant. And
as Yana kind of comes around from the sort of set office desk that is just kind of set in the middle of this place. It's an L-shaped desk, with an L kind of going in reverse, almost like a Tetris piece, as kind of moves the kind of slight orb that's hovering a little bit, this dull kind of warm light that covering all these different pads, and he looks up. You must be our other addition to our forensics team.
yeah. She'll look up from her books, put everything away. Affirmative.
Well, Petty Officer Kavai, correct?
Correct, sir.
Perfect. Ensign, why don't you show her to her workstation? I have a few more pads to get through from our last case over in San Francisco, but I do believe that she would be overjoyed to see.
And as he takes his leave, I will give him a salute that is traditional.
He doesn't really react. You're Vulcan not reacting to that. Under normal circumstances, a lot of people would be a little taken aback by something like that. This is standard for you. You've dealt with this shit for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But Vasya is a more excitable woman, as you have no idea how glad I am that I have someone else to work with that is hopefully a little more emotive.
To that note, I will smile a little brightly at her. Looks a little faltering at first, but she is known to match energy.
Okay.
wherever possible.
Right, so it says in your file that you are a holographic forensics scene analyst?
Affirmative.
Okay, well, you're gonna like this lab, and she types in a code, and a door opens. Well,
I want that code. I will do my best to memorize it.
it is a fairly it's a fairly standard code. It's 0421.
All right.
Entering into this area, it's a blank room, dark and black, and with like silver and light blue line lights going through. This is your workplace and office, I suppose.
I put my hands together and I look around delighted because I think I have a feeling of what this is.
Computer transfer code. Ensign Vasya Petrovich. Delta 39 Echo. To Petty Officer 3rd Class Kavai. Acknowledged. And then immediately you get on your pad a notification that all the command transfers for this particular office and lab have been given to you.
Yes, I received them.
Perfect. Computer, you know what to do? As she spins around and walks out the door, and you can see the blue lines begin to form as this room itself is a hologram. It's a hollow room.
There is a moment where she just stands stock still. And did you say she leaves the room?
Yeah.
She puts her hands together and you could see just tears welling up in her eyes. I finally have you. Ugh. I will put my hands against the wall and just bask in this moment.
Okay. As you become accustomed with your office, let us become accustomed with a different member of our team. Similarly, up on the 4th floor, there is a particular area, large, widened out space, a lab of sorts. Where do we find Dr. Atherton at this time, and what is she doing?
Well, if anybody's looking for Dr. Atherton, she might be. I'm feeling a gun. Well, a phaser. But it's not really a phaser because I want it to shoot acid.
That's not horrifying at all.
Like an acid squirt gun.
How'd you make that worse? Somehow that made it worse. But, doing so, the Seoul Atlantic Field Office caretaker AI, Juno, does appear within your lab. Doctor, I would like to inform you of your track record with such things.
That's why I'm in the planning phase. I'm going to send it all by Jaloryn before I do anything. As I stash the acid back in the cabinet.
Yeah, she's gonna look at you pretty suspiciously for that. But I suppose, more importantly, for the audience, what does the good doctor look like?
Dr. Atherton is, I guess, if going off your casting thing, if I were to cast her, I'd probably cast Jennifer Goodwin. She's got the same round face and light eyes with dark hair. Hers is dyed purple at the ends and cut into a rather dramatic undercut. She's definitely dressed rather avant-garde. Not flouting Jaloryn's rules for her dress, but definitely towing the line. She's in some tight-fitting shirt and a dramatic flowing skirt, and she is currently trying to figure out how to sell this new idea of hers to her new boss.
Okay. And with that, I know you're waiting for it. I'm looking for it. Hold on. There we go. Down this way. Also, notably enough, I believe, if I remember this correctly, Dr. Clary Atherton is not Starfleet, correct?
No, she's actually a civilian contractor.
Mm-hmm. You get a... It's just a text through your localized pad, but there is... And there's no name attached to it, but you know who it's from. It simply reads, "Mission over, returning soon."
I just send a heart back. If I'm allowed to send things back. I don't
Yeah.
know if she's
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Alright, Juno, obviously suspicious of you, but can't do much more than that.
You want to help?
Help with what?
Well, I am attempting to. Well, she just throws. She brings up. I assume that she has some sort of large screen for display in her
Oh yeah.
in the R&D offices. Okay, so she'll bring up what she has so far. And I'm not entirely certain what part she's stuck on, but I imagine it's something fiddly that an AI could probably help with.
Okay.
She's likely having an issue with probably like the aim, to be honest, if she's trying to shoot acid. But if Juno would like to help her in the R&D office, she would be cool with it.
If I were to help you, Doctor, I feel it is in my best self-preservative interest that I do not be involved in any of your reports, and anything that falls back strictly goes to you, as I would prefer the commander's ire be directed at you and not me. However, looking at the weapon itself, have you considered using something similar to how we use with deuterium? Rather than have it stay in a liquid or somewhat gaseous form, we crystallize it into a much more suitable projectile.
The problem is uncrystallizing it. But it's a good start. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I admire that you came up with this idea on your own, and she blinks out of existence.
I suppose I should see if Commander Jaloryn has any, like, since we are intending on opening soon, I imagine that she is going to start coming in with requests soon. Is there anything already there, or?
Not just yet. So she's
Not just
she's
yet?
she's got an open plate at the moment, so she can kind of play around a little bit for another day or two, unless something urgent comes up within that time period.
Excellent. I also want, she's also going to start working on the plans for a new project in the corner. It's, think an industrial Roomba with infinite storage capacity, or like an incinerator or something.
I want one of those. But it would be
We all
helpful.
do.
They would be helpful.
It would be ultimately helpful. Like,
Oh
absolutely.
man. Never have to vacuum again.
She's in a new office. She doesn't have any. I assume none of her underlings have shown up yet. She is in brainstorming phase. She's just coming up with wild ideas and seeing what sticks.
Yep, pretty much. As you go through, Doctor, you do get another message back, after receiving the heart, as there is... She likes to do this to you every now and again. Despite the high risk of the mission, you can see an image that was taken, probably during some of the downtime that she had. Wide, expansive mountains, healthy-looking, clear, blue, icy water. Very similar to, like, the Glacier Lakes mountains. But this is in the northern hemisphere of Ryza. That is where her classified mission apparently took her.
Ooh, interesting.
And she likes to show you these pretty sceneries that she was allowed to go on that you had to unfortunately stay behind because your wife
I
is a
have no
menace
clearance.
sometimes.
Interesting. I will immediately start nitpicking her photography. With love, of course.
There's an immediate, as you start doing that, there's like another message, just, you always do this.
I'll send another heart and then tell her that I have to get going because I need to go find Jaloryn and ask about about who's going to be working with me for R&D. I assume I don't have any dossiers yet. I'd like to at least know their names before they show up and start expecting me to know everything about their doctorates and degrees.
Yeah. I believe you can head out and do that, as Jaloryn is currently doing a walk around of the Solar Atlantic field office right now.
I imagine she would have gotten a notification on her pad that there was unauthorized access on the first floor. She would have likely diverted that direction.
Yes. On that note, we will finally introduce another member here as Lieutenant Commander Tate Mahone. Where do we find you at this moment?
They are probably at the facility early, so they've probably been there for a while.
Okay, you probably would have got the notification from the unauthorized access as well then.
Yeah, I'll be heading over there. I might be closer than the commander.
Okay. At that, would you like to describe how Lieutenant Commander Hone appears?
Yes. Tate is about 5'3", 5'4", depending on the shoes. They have brown hair that's cut above their shoulders, blue eyes. They are a trill, and they walk around with just sort of like a bit of a presence on their shoulder. Kind of, they're always looking around a little bit, their eyes darting a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well then, we do in fact have 6 pieces of art, but one of our members couldn't join us today because again, health is important, and the game at the end of the day over health is just that's not a thing. But we will get the art of Lieutenant Commander Tate Mahone up right over there. As you arrive, and this isn't a starship, so by the time you get there to look at this, Jaloryn has probably already arrived as well. And you can see this access panel has been taken apart, and some of the weird, like, wirings of this older architecture and circuitry has been done in such a convenient way where it's honestly, it'll probably work better now.
Commander?
Commander, I believe we've received an upgrade.
Yeah, yeah. Looks like someone broke in. Do you want me to look into it?
Oh, I already know.
It was Kavai, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm assuming you want to deal with that personally?
I can speak with Kavai on more than likely the reason they opted for this route would be their access codes. Could you look into that and make sure they have the proper clearance and the codes were sent over like they should have been already?
Yes, I will do that.
Thank you.
They should have gotten the codes by now, but we'll see what happened there. And you see that Tate is slightly annoyed because that was their job, and they're like, "What happened?"
She vaguely gestures at the door panel and is like, well, clearly there was a hiccup. I imagine it was not on your end, but rather theirs. And she jerks her head in the vague direction of San Francisco.
Tate doesn't respond to that. Tate just sort of nods. Tate doesn't show any annoyance about that. Just goes, "Yes, Commander," and it's just goes to figure out where the breakdown communication happened.
Okay. It doesn't take you too long to suss it out. From what you can assume here, it does look like this is... Honestly, it's a typo. It's something so minuscule and small it honestly got messed up.
Of course it was.
It literally, the clearance level that is needed for access is about a level 3 clearance level. And they somehow just missed the 2.
I will correct that and send the proper codes to Kavai saying, "Here's your proper codes. Sorry about the mix-up."
I will send a message back thanking them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, anything else you need from me, Commander?
I suppose we should enlist one of our more mechanical-minded and recruits into fixing. It's like, I believe the internal mechanics will be fine, but as far as making the door panel more presentable once more, if you could track someone down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I go to track someone down and have them fix the door.
And then Jaloryn makes her way back down to the sub-level.
Okay. Making your way down to the sub-level, Jaloryn, as you head down, again, there's no turbo lift here just because of the way the building itself is new, the stuff beneath it not so much. As you're going down, because you're in the new building, you're the one who sees this first. As the building the light shift from the bright, like, office tone to it shift to becoming dark, and then a dark kind of blue hue just throughout the entire office. All of you know what this is. This is a mission alert.
Jaloryn pauses where she's at, but she tries to stop in such a way that Tate will not run into her back and startle themselves. And she just kind of looks up and looks around. Commander, I believe you need to do an all-call and have everybody meet in the mission room.
We'll do so. I tap my communicator and say, "Senior station staff to the radio room, to Commander's radio room."
Okay.
And she just does a turnaround motion with her hand to head back up the stairs.
Okay. This is a little inconvenient for you, Commander, as you're not fully staffed yet. You're about a week out from being fully staffed.
She's hiding the annoyance well.
Getting to the ready room, as I assume all of you have arrived.
Kavai would actually be probably dead last for arriving after having to scramble to put away certain panels and whatever other deeds they were up to make it look like they weren't poking around where they probably shouldn't be.
I see, you're responsible.
Yep. Responsible as in likes to cover her tracks? Quite so.
Uh-huh. Okay.
She'll eventually learn she can't do that around the commander.
Today is not that day. This mission room, the question I have for you then, for this mission room, are you meeting in the command? This is your choice, Jaloryn, if you're meeting in the office area, like the supervisory agent in charge team office, or are you going into the multiple threat assessment center?
I think she will start them in the Team 1 office first until we ascertain exactly what type of alert is coming in, and then move to the MTAC if necessary.
Okay. There's a pause before there is a incoming transmission from Starbase 1, actually, that is coming through. It's still waiting, obviously, on your reply, but given that this is a message, and it seems to be the thing that has triggered a mission alert, this might be something that you might have to address.
And she just waits a few minutes before everyone to find a seat while she waits in front of the screen.
Okay.
And she taps in her command code to get the message going.
Okay. The message is... At first, it's just a file. It is a file of a individual of the Starfleet Marine Corps. It is the image, once again, of that Bajoran woman, played by Catherine Newton, but the name of this Bajoran woman is Private Ona Peshin. And there is a docket here of recent events that are dangerous and considered potentially threatening to the United Federation of Planets and Starfleet at large, as a classified medical facility orbiting the dark side of planet G0822 has had particularly specific files stolen from it. A file known as Project Caduceus, which is a very, very close to the chest medical project for disease and infectious cures and research in that field. It seems to be the entire file and backlog of those files has been taken out. Followed by that, there is an incoming transmission.
She minimizes the file for the moment and taps up the incoming transmission. Go ahead.
This is... You were not expecting to see her. This is Vice Admiral Ifra Zhao, played by Kate Winslet. She looks... She has this face of perhaps a mother that has scolded a child far too many times and has deemed and seen no success out of it. But her face softens a little bit at your appearance. I apologize for the sudden summons, Commander.
It seems serious, Admiral. What's going on?
I assume you've taken a look at the file?
Briefly.
Okay, so... Do you have your team with you?
She gestures behind her. Most of them are here.
Yes, I did see your lieutenant is having a housing issue.
That will be sorted out soon.
Well, unfortunately, we cannot wait for them currently.
Understood.
I assume you know the seriousness of such files being taken.
I do. Are we suspecting biological warfare?
Potentially, but it's a... What confuses me entirely, Commander, if I'm being honest, is how a Starfleet Marine private was able to accomplish such a thing, and currently still missing in action. She has evaded the nearby Andorian Imperial Fleet that has given us some aid, and the 4 Federation starships that are patrolling within that star system.
So we have a twofold mission here. Sort out what's going on with these files and why they're so important, and locate a missing Bajoran.
Yes, and she is a young soldier, but she was old enough to at least be around at the tail end of the Dominion War, so...
Something she saw spooked her about these files.
Something. Taking them makes her a fugitive, so I can't imagine she thought this through.
Very much an emotional response.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave this to your purview, Commander. Consider this a trial run for your field office.
Understood.
And should you need her, Commander, the Hypatia is in Starbase
Fueled and
1.
ready to go?
Yes. She's in the Starbase 1 space dock, should you need her.
Excellent. Anything else, Admiral?
I do not believe so. Jal out. And the screen darkens. Were you playing that pretty localized or just letting everyone hear it?
Everyone within the office.
Okay.
The office doors would have sealed themselves once everybody was in.
Okay. So everyone heard this then.
So Jaloryn crisply spins around after she pulls the files back up on the screen and shoots copies of those files to everybody's personal pads. And then she addresses the group. First impressions?
What do we know about Project Caduceus? That was the 2 Australian, sorry. But what do we know about Caduceus?
So, Project Caduceus is a medical advancement research project. It focuses on unknown infections, diseases, parasitic entities, anomalies, or otherwise interdimensional health hazards and issues. So far, it's seen a lot of promise from the bits of files. There's a lot of stuff that is just redacted that you don't have access to. But from what you can see, it has a lot of progress to it, and it seems to have been given the green light by Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets. Everything about it seems fine.
And what do we know about the Bajoran?
The Bajoran woman was born about 10 years before the Dominion War started, and currently no, not 10. 12 years before the Dominion War started, did a little bit of attempts at the Starfleet Academy for officers and starships. Didn't really have the mindset for that, was pretty almost a little too idealistic in certain, really bringing those Bajoran like qualities with her. Not great at listening to orders, generally speaking. Still, that being said, she has a fantastic track record of successful missions, even going back to help a wounded soldier in the direct line of fire of a Nausicaan arms trade deal and things like that. Her record seems equivalently just as solid and clean.
Above game.
She's an idea. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Above game, I have a talent called Well Informed, where we can give a threat to the storyteller, and I can ask 2 questions about the situation or location if we want. So just throwing that out there.
I mean, do you want to use it?
I could do it once per scene. So if you guys if someone comes up with like questions they want to know.
Well, yes, my first thought is we have an idealist on our hands that has a track record of not following orders if they believe it's in the interest of the greater good. And that's worrying?
Well, Jaloryn has basically opened the floor for everyone to chat.
Theorycraft.
Yeah, that's that. Clarice was saying that in character. She was basically saying that her initial thoughts are the Bajoran is an idealist who has a track record of not following orders if there is the greater good on the line in their eyes, and that worries Clarice given the situation.
What worries me is that she was able to evade all those starships. That shows that she's very good at what she does.
Is there any insight that Kavai or Miraloris would like to add to this?
Is it possible for me to get into those redacted files and see what additional information we could be gleaning from that?
So, the answer to this question is potentially yes. The other answer to this that I will tell you right now, because this is no secret to anyone, getting into these redacted files can backfire on you horrifically. There is a chance you can do it, though.
Backfire in what way exactly? It's against the rules?
Very much so. This will go
Yep.
against like some form of Starfleet medical code and procedure, and these redacted files are also probably have been redacted by, at the very least, a vice admiral or higher. Going behind their back and accessing their files is...
That would get Jaloryn in trouble.
yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to rock the boat too much yet.
Unless there is any information that Mira can access, like additionally as medical personnel, I don't think she would have anything to say.
Actually, yeah, you could access her private owner's files. Looking into her medical files, she has what is considered a... it's an FTL disorientation condition. So basically, if she's at FTL for any more than an hour or so of time, she will get very sick unless she has the medical equipment to deal with it. The report seems to suggest that she had access to a Type 9 shuttle. Everyone does know that a Type 9 shuttle, though they have access to decent warp capabilities, given where she was, she can't make it anywhere very far. And there's no habitable planets nearby.
Ooh, okay. I think on that note, I will pipe up.
It's thing only Mira can know, so can she disclose it? Is she allowed to?
That is under your purview. You are in the intelligence field, which means you have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to medical confidentiality and stuff like that. And considering that they are in the... This is a high-profile case of interest. So you can disclose that information without any negative repercussion.
And deducting that and just being kind of an open person, she is gonna show it to everyone. Like there's this. I'm not sure how relevant this is currently, but it's a thing. I don't think any of you have this. So here, hope that's useful.
Jaloryn nods in the ensign's direction. If it becomes necessary as a means of bringing her in peacefully, it may come in handy.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And I do believe, Kavai, you had an idea?
Yes. Given the trajectory of their craft and the fact that there are no habitable life bearing planets in the area, I suspect that they must be meeting someone. If we can figure out who that is, it might give us a lead. What prior contacts do we know that they have?
That's certainly something that we'll need to dig into. But that's a very good idea. And very possibly you're correct.
I could I have some contacts I could try and figure things out, aka well informed.
Ooh.
Okay.
Like, ooh. Spicy.
Jaloryn gives Tate a nod of approval.
All right. I would like to use well informed.
Okay.
You get a threat, so
Back
mark
up to
that
10.
down for yourself.
Back up to 10.
All right. So 2 questions. We get like we're spending for information. So the first question would be what contacts does the Marine have? And I'm open to suggestions about the second one.
Does this have any signs of what's the word? Not brainwashing, but like is
Manipulation?
this has
Coercion?
this does it look like this Bajoran looking through the files that we have and what we know of and what we can find of her? Does it look like she's being coerced or manipulated into this series of actions?
Okay.
Ooh.
So, I will answer these questions in reverse. In regards to being manipulated and being coerced, there is always that possibility, but given her record, she doesn't like to listen to people for the most part. She kind of goes off of her own instincts, and there is going off of that as well. It doesn't seem like this doesn't feel like coercion of any kind. This feels intentional. This feels like she made this decision on her own. And then, I believe, Commander Hone, you asked about contacts, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The only contacts that she even regularly associated herself with was her Marine group, which currently are being debriefed on Starbase 1 about their deserter of a fellow soldier.
I just send a list of contacts to the commander's pad and say, here's what I got.
She nods. I definitely want a report of the debrief once they're finished with that. So if you could secure that when that's completed.
I will do my best.
And I would say, even if she's stubborn, doesn't listen well to others, that can be manipulated. Particularly if she has reason to believe that the person telling her the information is not lying to her. It could be shown to her through a lens that creates the desired result. So I certainly want to know what she was exposed to that would cause her to hack into a medical facility and get away with it.
She also doesn't seem to be any sort of doctor. She could be misled about what
what it is they're
I'll
up
say.
to. Yeah. And if she doesn't have any medical training, who told her what to get?
She could be
Perhaps-
doing it entirely of her own free will.
Or she could be doing it on the say-so of whoever she's trying to meet.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not a first thing a person would do, considering we're talking about the big part of Starfleet. No, just not speaking out of experience, of course, but if anyone would try to hack Starfleet, they would be kind of in a big, extremely horrible trouble. Normally, it's a basis on which pretty much a lot of people would go away from. Yeah, if they.
I'm not
Yeah.
sweating, you're sweating.
Oh, I'd never underestimate what someone could do for greed.
Yeah, but it just nobody would be they're willing to side with them after or before they do this if they announce their intentions to anyone. Again, not speaking from my personal experience, it's just if you somehow let it slip that you are trying to mess with Starfleet, a lot of people would turn away from you. That's it.
You do make a good point. It's not likely, even with this debrief, it might not reveal very much. It's very likely she didn't say anything. But you're also correct in that she is going to be in a lot of trouble with Starfleet if we don't get to her first.
On that note, Jaloryn, you do kind of like glance out your pad and you see the planet that is G0822. Notable, the two things that are very notable about it. One, it is a pre-warp planet that is fairly close to Earth in the Alpha Quadrant. The other is that the surface of it seems to be covered in pretty violent, like the cloud cover appears to be pretty violent plasma storms, and you know those to be disruptive to sensors and the like. The final piece of information that you know, because you used to hold a field in science, this planet is a 26-hour jump at warp 7 from Earth.
So it's for many, it's not terribly far.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to want to know more about that planet in particular. And it's like, why would somebody hide a research facility there? And it's like, what is it about that planet that makes it special? And how would this Marine know to go there?
What makes this planet special, despite being pre-warp, they have physiology that is very close. I would say within a 2% margin, the biology is about 2% off of being human.
Is this knowledge shared with the class?
It is.
Well, I would
Ensign?
remark... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ensign, would my little gut instinct tell me that these beings would make excellent test subjects?
Yep. You're asking me. Well,
You're the medical expert in the room right now.
Vi's
Alright.
expression to hearing that someone is being like, potentially experimented on is like abject horror.
Well, that depends. Usually, it's I need to see more about subjects that would be experimented on, because usually what we need, I mean, if we're talking about experiment, what we need is a um healthy, well, somebody who is on a very leveled field. We're saying it correctly. So I'm gonna need to see a little bit more of the possible subjects. Is there anything of that on here? I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure this tablet out a little bit.
You have an older model. It is a little difficult to use, but to hear that, and the answer for you, Ensign Loris, it is correct. They would probably be very good for test subjects of sorts. Whether or not that was officially authorized or not. But being a pre-warp society, there is also another problem.
First contact.
First contact, prime directive. However, I think it occurs to all of you that the answer is not going to be found here on Earth.
I think we have a third line of investigation to follow here as well now. We need to find out exactly what that medical facility was up to, and if the Prime Directive was violated.
Alright.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And if someone is getting experimented there, I really can't just let it be like that. We have to make sure that they arrive and try to return them back to normal.
It also gives us a motivation for our missing private. If she
Wait,
came
you
to
had
the belief,
no motivation to search a person? Seriously, that should be motivation enough. Oh wait, I mean, yeah, you're right.
I mean that if enough material was shown to our private that there was unauthorized and illegal, immoral experimentation was taking place at this planet, that would give our Bajoran enough reason to go against Starfleet Code and their personal loyalties to Starfleet in order to steal these files and meet with somebody else. So we have 3 lines of investigation here. We need to know more about these files. We need to find our missing private. We need to know more about that medical facility and exactly what's going on at that planet.
Yeah, that sounds like a piece of cake.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to find anything here, so
No.
we should probably get to the ship as soon as possible, Commander.
Give out the order to scramble the crew and let Lieutenant Commander Lee that we need the Hypatia up and ready to go as soon as possible.
Juno is already in in an empty chair. I have already informed them. You have no idea when she has just materialized in this room. It's a habit that is most disturbing to most of you, except maybe a couple.
Jaloryn just smiles serenely at Juno. Thank you, dear.
I will inform Commander Lee that their presence is needed at the field office at this time.
Thank you.
She vanishes again. Alright, so I believe all of you, and I have this question because this came up in a session 0 and this is very important. Are you doing this in a somewhat hurried fashion and using transporters?
That would be Jaloryn's preference.
Yeah.
Okay.
She would remotely summon Lieutenant Caraballo. Quickly fill him in and let him know to meet at X point. We're going to the Hypatia.
Okay. All right, getting and probably skipping ahead as you all.
Well,
Hmm?
as we head out the room, she's gonna grab Kavai real quick.
Okay.
Do you physically touch her?
Kavai, stay back a moment, please.
Okay.
She waits until everybody else leaves the room.
Very, very paled at the prospect of teleporting out of here.
If you need me to, Kavai, I will stay with you for the transporters, or we can take a shuttle up if you prefer.
She sort of refocuses and looks at you. It's probably the first time in a long time you've seen her make eye contact with you, and they nod.
Which would you prefer?
Your accompaniment would be appreciated. I know time is of the essence. I can set aside my discomfort.
All right. Also, next time you are having trouble with the door, just let me know.
Eyes back on the floor.
Okay. So you're just gonna endure the transporter then, Kavai?
As best they can.
Okay.
And Jaloryn easily falls in step beside her and stays pace with her, just as a comforting presence.
Okay.
And on that note, you can... Being around Kavai, you would probably not for the first time notice that her emotions are easily readable on their face. She's expressive, very much leaning more towards her Orion side in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also feel it. She does not have the best control over what sense she gives off. And it is palpable.
Okay. Well then.
Jaloryn has pretty strong composure, so she's able to endure that.
Gee, I wonder where you learned that. However, doing a quick little scene transition here as the... Jaloryn, you haven't really been on the Hypatia since you kind of did the shakedown cruise, but the technology has improved. The ship is far nicer, and despite it being a Nova-class vessel, being in a position of command, this bridge looks massive. As the con officer at the helm is, I believe it is, yes, is a unjoined Trill woman, Ensign Denapren, as she kind of notice you. Commander on the bridge, and they all stand at attention.
At ease. 2 stations.
They relax. The ensign kind of looks back to you, kind of a somewhat of a probably troublesome shit-eating smirk. Are we just doing another shakedown cruise, Commander, or is this more real?
This is the real deal, Ensign.
Well, then I should inform you that not all of our supplies for the Hypatia have been loaded in Most notably, we don't have a payload of Mark 13 photon torpedoes or quantum torpedoes yet. We'll have to do with phasers.
Let me guess. They were to arrive next Tuesday?
Wednesday, actually, but yeah, it's
Then I suppose we'll just have to make do. Hopefully, we won't need to encounter too much trouble out there.
she doesn't say it very loud, but you can hear as she spins around in the chair and starts typing on the LCARS system just very quietly. Why would you say that?
Why wouldn't you?
The chair is yours, Commander.
She decides not to do an all call. She just puts out a text alert for everybody to report to stations and get ready to leave dock. And we're headed out to deal with an unknown danger.
Okay. As the
She also sends a private text to Dr. Atherton to change into something more appropriate.
okay. All right. As the ensign kind of turns to you, Starbase 1 is ready, Commander. On your order.
Let's do this. Engage.
She types out onto the LCARS, and you can feel the ship kind of hum to life.
Somewhere on that ship, there is an excited mirror looking out of the window or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
Because hi, hello, it's actually her first time getting off of the planet.
Oh,
Baby's first flight. She's
I
like
love
visibly
that.
shaking.
All right. As the ensign moves, the way she moves across the controls is almost like a practiced musician, a pianist moving across in an orchestra. Just all right. Thrusters at half capacity, 1/4 impulse engaged. There is about a minute pause. We're clear of orbit, Commander.
set course for this destination that I'm sending you. Warp 6. And
Right.
she bumps off. She quickly types into her armchair console the coordinates for the planet and sends them to the ensign's console.
All right. Warp 6 engaging. And you can watch as the star field kind of pulls around and then space begins to bend. Then a blue and white tunnel envelops the ship as you head off at a warp 6 jump. But on that note, it's a little bit later for us than when we intended because we had this wonderful thing called tech issues. So we will be taking a tiny bit of a break and we will come back in hopefully 10-15 minutes. I'm going to say 15 just because last time when we did our test we said 10 and it wasn't that. So I'm going to say 15. That is for all of you and all of us to people and hydrate, stretch, do whatever. But we will be back in 10 to 15.
Woo!
But we will
See y'all soon.
see you all soon. Correct. Welcome back. Okay, so, when last we left off, the USS Hypatia, registry code NCC 59421, she departed Earth space dock, headed for planet G0822. At a cruising warp of warp 6. And to those of you watching and those of you potentially in the stream punks, this right here, take a gander as to what that means. I won't tell you. If you send it to me, just in our Discord channel or something, I will be coy about my answer. But anyways, dropping out of warp, or not really dropping, but soon to be dropping out of warp, the ensign kind of at her con station turns to you, who Commander Jaloryn. Commander will be dropping out of warp in 63 seconds.
Thank you, Ensign.
And do keep in mind, everyone, that there has been a time jump because it takes a little over a day to get here. As you drop out of warp, the ensign positions you at the dark side of this planet's moon. I hope you don't mind, Commander. I took the liberty of putting us on the dark side of the moon. I figure even if they're pre-warp, if they have any sort of radar or something, I felt like maybe you would prefer our presence be not known.
Excellent discretion, Ensign. Let's get some scans going, shall we? I want to know what's going on in this system.
Alright, anything I'm looking for is just a general sweep, Commander.
Let's start with a general sweep.
Okay. I can't imagine a general sweep with all this plasma interference, how much we're...
Do what you can.
What the hell? Commander, there's a shuttle transponder.
Can you ascertain where it's coming from?
In between the moon and the planet.
A little more specific, please.
222,000 kilometers, off our starboard side, 16 degrees.
Bring it up on screen.
Okay, they scan it out, and there is a shuttle transponder. It's the transponder. No shuttle.
So that would explain why our private suddenly disappeared.
Okay, well, that's a problem. General scans, I don't see any emissions of warp travel aside from the various registered ships. There is fading signs of a warp signature from a Type 9 shuttle, but it doesn't look like it went very far. It kind of looks like it just went to warp and then I lost it. I don't know where else it is.
Where exactly did it jump to warp?
The direction of the Sol system. That's strange. If there was any shuttle, even without the transponder, we should have seen it on our general scanners. And given everything that we know, I don't think Sol would be the direction you would go. That seems unlikely.
I believe you misunderstood my question, Ensign. What position, where in the system did they jump to warp? Not what direction, but where?
Directly over the planet's atmosphere.
She looks at Tate. Commander, I'm not
Yes.
an expert.
Mm-hmm.
That seems awfully risky to me.
How would I know that?
Oh yeah, that is incredibly risky. With a shuttle, jumping from the atmosphere is incredibly risky. It's one of those. It's a daredevil pilot maneuver that you have to be exactly precise with your calculations, or you will rip yourself to shreds. You don't have any room for error, especially in a shuttlecraft, and even with a smaller science vessel like this, that's pushing a line. Like, it's very risky.
She had to be very good to do that, Commander. Or she had to have some very good programming in that ship. One second off and she'd be space dust.
Is there anything in her record that indicates pilot training?
Is there? I have her record open.
There is no record of pilot training whatsoever. Basic stuff. She can fly a shuttle for sure. She can fly a shuttle. But the one thing in her record that does come up, she's an expert in survival training.
Expert in survival training. My guess would be that she found a planet near Sol that wasn't inhabited, and she's hiding out there if she's a survivalist.
It also explained her tendency to be a bit of a daredevil. She took a gamble and made a guess that she would win.
There's nothing in her file that says she's capable of this kind of flying. I'm barely capable of that kind of flying.
Agreed.
Question.
Would Kavai be calming the bridge?
Yes. Given the is there any sign of debris around? Because they left a transponder here. That's very... Why would that be left behind? Could it have been accidental?
Ensign, go ahead and scan for any signs of debris. And to me, leaving the transponder behind, they do not want to be tracked.
No, but I did. Petty Officer Kavai, this is Ensign Denapren. With your permission, I'd like to beam the transponder to the science lab.
I will be awaiting it.
As long as you're alright with that, Commander.
Go ahead.
Kavai, you get the transponder. Most notably, this transponder, it's entirely intact. No burns, no blast marks.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely gonna... Would it have, like, the history of the route that it took?
It would have to.
Okay. I definitely want to get all of that and see if maybe they left anything showing where they planned to go before they left it.
Okay. Checking the transponder route, there is... The route taken is to the Sol system. But the coordinates, the way they're punched in, this is entirely randomized. Randomized coordinates jumped at this exact moment. Ensign Denapren pipes up. Commanders, I did find something. Debris. High orbit. Above. Planet above the planet. Pulling it up on screen. It is the pylon and ruined nacelle of a Type 9 shuttle.
So
Are
she
we
didn't.
close?
So she
Sorry.
didn't pull that off unscathed.
No, she did not. Are we close enough to beam that into the shuttle bay?
I would have to circle to the other side of the moon, Commander. We're close, but not that close.
But we're not jumping in from warps.
No.
Be careful about it, Ensign. Get us close enough to get that transport, and then get us back behind the moon.
Alright. Do you want me to transport this to a cargo bay, engineering? What do you want?
Cargo bay.
Cargo bay. Transporting to cargo bay 1. On board, Commander.
Commander, swing through engineering and grab Dr. to take a look at that nacelle and see what.
Yes, Commander. I'll get up and go grab Dr. Atherton.
Okay. You are able to get to the cargo bay. Dr. Atherton, it is probably a relief to you because it has been a consistent thing with Danessa of hold this while I do this, and you just stand there. So it might be a tiny bit of a relief.
You have something
What's
to
the
tinker with
situation?
now.
Oh yes, there are hearts in Clarice's eyes, or Dr. Atherton's eyes, as she looks at this at this piece of wreckage. What's the damage?
It's
Can I tell what she collided with? Can I tell, like, can I steal Kavai's job and do some forensic analysis here?
yes, you may, and that, I believe, is a roll as well. That seems reasonable. How about we do some...
And you have a handy dandy first officer next to you providing us.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
This is going to be Insight Engineering Difficulty 3.
Alright.
What would mine be? I'm kind of looking at this from a pilot perspective. Like,
Yeah, it's like
I don't have good engineering, but
You know what? Yeah, you could look at this from a pilot's perspective, so I think that would be...
That's precisely why Jaloryn would have sent him down there.
Wow, this is such a weird roll to make, but for you, Tate, it's going to be Insight and Con. Difficulty of 2.
okay.
And I just have a question. Is this craft military engineering?
By all standard technicality, yes.
Then could I apply my focus to this?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
Can I apply my piloting focus?
Yes, you can.
All right, then I got 3 successes.
Okay, so we have 1 momentum there.
I have a critical with a 3, and then I have a 9. And I have a... and I have a 14, which is also a pass.
So that's... So that's 4 successes, right?
Yes. If I'm remembering the rules correctly, then yes, that's 4 successes. Because a crit counts twice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I got an additional reroll because of my focus?
No. That's
Or
not
an-
how that...
Oh, what does
No.
focus do again?
It's just adding 2 It'll add 2 successes, basically.
Oh, it just adds... Okay, then I have...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Then I have 4 successes, yes.
Okay. I was just,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's... Okay, so then you have 2 momentum in the bank right now.
No, that would be 5 successes. Because I rolled
Yep.
a success and a critical plus the 2 automatic successes.
3. 3 momentum. Okay, we're there. From a piloting perspective, there is very little chance that the private is as daring a pilot, and specifically, she's probably not clever enough to evade the Andorian Imperial fleet, as well as 4 Federation starships. That doesn't seem likely. In fact, it's so minusculely possible that it just exits itself out of the realm of possibilities. With that being the case, Tate, what you can get out of this is this ship probably more accurately exploded the moment it jumped to warp. From an engineering perspective, Dr. Atherton, looking through all of this, not only has this experienced explosions and burn damage, you are looking at a particular burn mark underneath, kind of in the inside of the bent down pylon. There is no mistaking that. That's a phaser blast from a ship. And by the scorching on it, probably a fairly strong one. Something that has a little bit more firepower than the Hypatia.
Interesting. Was the ship manned while it was fired on?
I believe it was. Can you scan to see if there's any remnants of any Bajoran life signs? Any biological components here?
Scanning, I can tell you right now, there won't be any, aside from light bits of, like, what might be the microscopic remains of, like, a skin particle or something like that. But aside from that, nothing to indicate true fatality.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if she killed herself with that maneuver or not.
Doesn't seem likely.
Can I find any evidence to indicate whether there was any organic aboard when the ship exploded? Like, I'm sure it's pretty thoroughly scorched, and I won't be able to get anything off the black box well, actually, could I get anything off the black box?
You'd have to find that first.
Yeah, can I find it?
No, you cannot.
Tragic. All right, but yeah, is there anything I can find to indicate one way or another, or is it too trashed?
Isn't this like just only part of the shuttle?
Yes, it is only it's just like a broken off. It's like a ruined nacelle piece attached to a pylon of the shuttle.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if there's
So it's only part of the
any
shuttle.
way for it to I guess I'm asking, is there any way for the ship to have been able to support a life form with the destruction that I currently see?
No, the damage here is pretty extensive.
Okay.
However, doing a little bit of math, you can tell, because this is something that you can actually tell, the phaser fire happened before the explosion.
I'll calm the commander. Commander, looks like the shuttle was fired upon first, and then when she tried to pull her stunt, the ship exploded. No evidence of a body here. This is only part of the ship. It's only part.
All right. She taps a command on her tie-in Kavai from the sign.
You are cutting out a tiny bit.
She taps a couple commands on her console to tie into. Petty Officer Kavai, what do you have from the transponder?
Sorry, you're breaking up pretty bad. You might want to disconnect and reconnect.
Okay, hold on.
And while everyone has been looking around space side, could it be possible for me to have turned my attention towards the planet? I would like to know what their communications are and what they've been monitoring, if anything, if I can view into what their sensors might have picked up, what communications they have, if they like have a television system, like thing, anything like that, like radio signals, all of it.
Okay. Luckily, this planet is documented enough. As per Federation protocol, you have to kind of keep an eye on these things, especially with reward societies.
Yep.
Their tech level is about what in our actual real lifetime is probably close to about mid 20th century.
Okay. So, potential radio.
Yes.
Okay, I want any broadcasts that I can get my little grubby hands on. Because, especially from where any of this could have been visible, matching their time frame.
Okay. Alright, yeah, that is actually a way to go about this. Luckily, your systems are far more advanced than theirs, so you don't even have to really try and punch a hole into theirs.
Yep.
Looking through, you don't find anything indicating, shuttle exploding or anything like that. But you do get a interesting radio broadcast, and going through the universal translator,
I would probably rely more on my linguistics focus and background, because I prefer an accurate translation.
okay. Going through that then, you go through and there is, rather than having the universal you have that like popped up as like a text screen just to kind of
Yeah,
help
just
the
a
computer
backup.
parse it, but there is note of a bright white line in a night sky dotted by red stars that disappear.
Well, that would line up with, I believe, something going to warp and exploding, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the red dots and stars that
That's
disappear sounds like phaser
peculiar.
blast.
Ah. Okay, so we have a more accurate timeline then.
Yes, more specifically for red dots, that sounds like pulsed phaser cannons, which is way scarier because they pack way more of a punch.
I will tap my comm badge. Kavai to Commander Jaloryn,
Go ahead.
and I will relay the information I've uncovered. This feels incredibly concerning to me, as this doesn't seem to indicate any anything good.
I concur. Ensign, this is directed at the helmsman. Do a scan of the upper atmosphere there, where we believe the shuttle went to warp. What can you find as far as trace energy from weapons fire? Can we narrow down who might have done those?
Alright, given the tech level, I think I can swing in there. She pulls up a quick thing on her screen. It kind of translates over to your screen, Commander, but it looks like just typical celestial happenings within the system. Okay,
Excellent idea, Ensign.
time it right here, and she moves, and you can feel the ship rumble to life once again, but moving with not impulse power, but maneuvering thrusters only. Alright, short range scan, Commander?
Yes.
Going through, she looks... The plasma storm is gonna make things a little difficult, but... We might be sitting here for a moment, Commander, if you'll patiently await. Our scanners seem to be the only thing that are actually up to date.
Science and investigation all require patience.
This is why I'm a con officer. Scan complete.
I think. While we're waiting on that information, if anyone is or around Kavai's office, you would hear local broadcasts and their music. She's absorbing all of this planet's culture, trying to learn anything she can about them as we're here.
There is something that catches your attention, Kavai.
Ooh.
A couple of days
they
ago.
spotted us.
No, a couple of days ago, there was a break in the atmospheric storms. What they refer to as just a pulse storm. But for about an hour, there was no pulse storm. It kind of relaxed for a little bit. What you know about a plasma storm of this nature: they wreak havoc on sensors, they're dangerous to fly in, and most notably, you cannot transport with those active.
Okay.
However, there was a lull.
Is it possible to scan to see if our Bajoran is planet side?
You will have to go through a metric shit ton of plasma interference, but it is possible.
I would like to give that a shot.
Would there be an assist from the ship?
Ooh.
Yes, there would be.
In the meantime, Jaloryn has a thought, and she's gonna calm up Mira. Ensign Mira in sickbay.
Yes.
I would like you to start going through, see if you can get from Petty Officer Kavai. They are going through all the broadcasts from the planet. See if the two of you can put your heads together and find out anything on the latest medical happenings on down there. And it's like anything that might stand out to you as problematic for the population, such as large, widespread pandemics. Anything unusual.
Or missing people.
Alright, I can do that. See. So, yeah, that's kind of what she's gonna do. She will. So she needs to contact them, correct? Or
Just head to there. You can just go there. You're on the same ship.
Yeah, and head over to the science lab. So as you enter, you'll probably be hearing all that wonderful
And it is notably multiple streams and feeds all at once. It is immediately, if you have sensory issues to sound, overwhelming.
It is a cascade of noise.
And it would be shocking that someone is able to pay attention to more than one feed like this at once, but it appears that Kavai is managing this.
It's actually pretty okay with Mira because she knows how big cities and crowds work. And again, when like a huge amount of people are cheering on around you and you have to concentrate on one person in front of you, that's you get used to it. You know how to handle
Fantastic.
it. Yeah.
Uh,
So she still looks surprised when she walks in, like this hit of sound, but she adapts quickly.
Fantastic. Notably, your presence is not immediately noticed. Kavai is all focused on all of these screens and is frantically taking notes, looking up coordinates, fact-checking, etc.
Okay. And Kavai, you are doing a scan of
Yes.
difficult nature here. So,
All right. What do you
this
need from
is
me?
going to be... I think this is Insight Science.
Okay.
And this is going to
So
be
15.
a difficulty of 4 with 2 points of threat that I'm going to spend here.
Okay, I'm not 100% sure how all that works yet.
So a difficulty of 4 means you're going to need 4 successes.
Okay.
With that being the case, again, you have to roll the combined number or below that. You may also use momentum to purchase extra dice to roll for this.
Yeah, as I only have 2, I think I would have to purchase. Otherwise, I can't make it no matter what.
Unless you hit a crit.
Right, okay.
So, if you
May
take
I
one,
spend?
that is totally fine if people are fine with that.
Go for it.
Okay.
Take the momentum.
And that's
Right, so you're down to 2 momentum now.
All right, so I have to roll 19 or lower for success. Is that correct?
Let's see. You have, for reason and science, I believe that's 15 for you. So 15
Yeah.
or lower.
Okay, I wasn't sure if adding the difficulty added to that directly.
No.
I'm not.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Rolled 17 and a 13, so that's... Oh,
What about
that's
the third die?
right. And an 18. Only 1 success.
Ooh, this is gonna be fun.
Did someone roll for the ship?
Right, the ship. I believe
I don't have the ship's sheet.
Yeah, they could roll a crit.
it would be the Nova class. I'd have to resituate that. That is the one thing I could not get to because we were dealing with technical problems. But I believe the Nova class is pretty mellow, and it's... Let me check really quick. Is it? Nope, it's not that one.
It would be sensors and science?
Sensor science, yes.
13.
Okay.
I'll roll.
I think... Yeah, okay.
Oh, I thought that.
Would any
I got
of
12.
my... I'm sorry, would any of my talents help with this? Because I've got caution science.
Yes, you can re-roll. You can re-roll one of those. Reroll the
Okay, I'm
8.
definitely going to take that.
Yeah, re-roll the 18.
Okay.
And a 12 from the ship would be a success, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
rolled an 8.
So that makes...
I think that makes us the 3 successes total then.
That would put us 1 short.
That is one
I
short.
didn't.
However, is there any... Are there any focuses that you think might apply here?
Detective?
I was
Yes.
also gonna throw out there Mira, now that she has a medical assist there,
Ooh.
because she's specifically looking for a Bajoran life form.
Yeah, so Mira could roll.
Yes. So
Yeah.
here's what I'm gonna say: is either Mira can roll, or we can, or you can try and see if you can find anything like that. But Mira, you can roll, to see if you can assist with that,
Yes, please.
and that is going to be. Again, that's going to be an for you. That's going to be a insight medicine check. So
Little?
Are you muted?
She's not.
Yeah, but the mic could be muted.
Technology.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, either way, we can retcon that if it comes up. Even with the detective focus, I think you could probably.
I'm sorry. I was checking something. I'm here.
Okay.
We're trying to accomplish a role, and it was suggested that with Mira's, and now that she's in the room as a medical and assist, Kavai is scanning for a Bajoran life form specifically, where Mira may be able to provide an assist.
So that
If you are comfortable with rolling.
Yep, most definitely. I'm gonna grab my dice.
okay. Yeah. That is.
Just
Yep. That's insight medicine. So 14 or lower is what you need here.
we're talking just 1 to 2.
I believe with an assist, if I remember correctly, it's 1.
Yeah, with the assist, it's just one.
Yeah, just one dice.
All right, let's get it. Give me.
We only need one.
Okay. 6. Sorry.
That makes
No,
four.
it worked.
That's
That,
Oh, 6 is
that's
good.
4.
no.
That's
Oh.
it's,
Nope.
If we
Not
Uh,
D&D rules
my
here.
brain was my brain. You said for my brain was like 14 for some reason.
No. The
No clue.
the
Yep.
difficulty was 4, and we needed 4 successes, and that's what we got.
Perfect. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of doing. Like, it is the amount of power that's needed to punch through a plasma storm like this. You have to take out pretty much 2 sections out of Deck 6. Take their power to boost anything. But there is, in surprisingly somewhat decent health, is one singular female Bajoran life sign within the wild forest and mountain area of this planet.
I think
that sounds
Kabai
like-
just looks stunned that this was even that we did it.
This is actually, I don't know, lucky? Incredibly lucky, I'd say.
They're in so much trouble. How are we going to recover them?
I mean, can't we just swoop in, I guess, grab them and get out really quickly? Though I don't know who they are with, so that's gonna be a bit of a toughie.
On that note, do we have life signs around them, or are they alone?
There are 2 life signs, not nearby, but concerningly, 2 life signs,
Native?
No,
Ooh.
not native. One appears to be human, the other appears to be incredibly, concerning to perhaps you, Kavai, because you have a little bit more experience nuance in this. One is a Betazoid.
Oh. Yeah,
And
I'm
the
not
way they
comfortable
are
with that.
moving from just the little bit of scan that you were able to do before the storm kind of disrupts it, the two there, they're working incredibly parallel and in tandem.
And I think you were about to say they're the distance from the Bajoran.
Jordan's been able to keep a fair amount of distance. She's been able to keep about a little bit over about 1.5 miles of distance, it seems. Which, realistically, that's still not a lot if you're on foot.
Does it suggest that they are hunting her? Or are they all together but working in separate areas?
This does seem to be a predator and prey situation, yeah.
Fascinating. We need to alert the commander. I will leave that to you as my superior officer.
Yeah, same. And just so you know, I can carry a person if needed.
Alright, the question for you, Ensign Loris, is are you calming that up or are you going to the bridge directly for this?
I mean, honestly, she's just going with the crowd currently, because she barely knows what is where, and she would rather not get lost in there.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
she's just following the majority.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so just to calm up, Jaloryn, you were apprised of the situation relatively quickly then, and to perhaps some Trekkies who are saying, a Nova class isn't that big. Keep in mind, these ships are actually pretty massive. You'd get lost too. But that being the case, Jaloryn, you were informed of this, and not only that, but you can feel this palpable headache coming on because your job just got infinitely more complicated.
She's gonna summon her team to the ready room.
Okay.
I make haste. I take all of the notes that I've learned and get them on my pad. I would also be wearing a pair of headphones at this point, still listening to whatever modern broadcast from them I can find, just for my own personal entertainment.
Okay. This ready room is built a lot like the USS Voyagers, but a little bit smaller, as a Nova class is about little over half the size of a Intrepid class. But all of you are gathered here.
So let's put this all together. She's gonna gesture to Tate and Dr. Atherton to have them fill in Kavai and Mira as to what they found down in the cargo bay.
Mm-hmm.
We do so.
And then she does the same for Kavai and Mira to fill in Dr. Atherton and Tate on what they just discovered.
Alright. I guess we're all informed then.
So now that we're all on the same page, ideas. And she opens up the floor.
We could wait for another lull in the storm, but that risks the Marine getting caught by whoever's hunting her. We could fly in, but that has its own complications. The storm itself is pretty nasty, and also we'd be flying in on a planet Prior planet. Violating a directive, I believe.
I believe the damage has already been done.
True.
I think getting the three off the planet would be the safer option for first contact. Before they interact with any local organics.
Ideally, yes. We need to get all three of them off the surface.
And
But also going planet side would give us an opportunity to get an idea of, has there already been interference with the locals?
I don't know, being on the planet and somehow avoiding the local.
Where's the ship?
Kind of hard.
The
Is
ship,
there a crash site?
Yeah, there should have been.
as
Did
far
we
as
locate it?
As far as we know, the ship exploded when it went to warp. The only thing left is that nacelle we recovered.
Is there any record of another ship being present in the area? We have 2 individuals on the planet we did not account for previously.
Was the ensign able to recover any, identify what the weapons fire came from?
Yep, it is from again, kind of the information that you've been getting, and something that you were a little bit scared to hear, is it was from a pulse phaser cannon. Specifically a Mark 13, which is generally what is equipped on the newer models of Starfleet vessels, such as the Vesta class and the refit ambassadors and sovereign and all of those.
Federation ship.
Yeah.
That must be acting against orders, or we would have had a record of it.
Or they're acting within orders by protecting whatever medical research is going on here.
Instead of looking at main channel communications, can I try to locate whatever local planet side would have, like, the equivalent of, like, conspiracy theorists or alien searching channels? Like,
Are you asking if they have a late night history channel programming?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
or more like people talking about what they've seen in the sky, or like private communications, like pirate radio, anything that would suggest like people looking at like crowdsourcing on their own to uncover potential people disappearing or being experimented on, anything like that.
Okay.
They're like Twitter hashtag
Or if
UFO.
yeah, if there's a history of that kind of thing.
Oh,
Fucking
man.
them posting on Twitter, just like, about to enslave a couple of locals.
Yeah.
Okay. Listening to those, like any society, you're going to have those people who are unfortunately just a bit too extra for no reason and unhealthy for most people. There is a lot of conspiracy theorists that go around, but particularly
I
the
would like to
white line and the
specifically
stars in the sky kind of have really fueled that.
I would like to specifically rule out any races that we know don't exist. So I want to look for species that are intelligent and known that they would have perhaps connected with, to confirm my suspicions that. Does this make sense?
Yes, I get what you mean. Because they are
Like
so close.
they've managed to describe species that we know.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You could probably limit it to Federation standard species, since these are presumably Starfleet employees.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of descriptions of people that look conspiracy. It's kind of like this weird conspiracy theorist of almost like a doppelganger theory,
Yes, I want to find the people who are right.
There is particular instances where there were individuals that appear every now and again within their cities that look very close and similar to them. One of them particularly, the one, it's hard to describe, but the best way to describe them is from your perspective, Kavai, what they're describing is human. They're also describing other individuals, such as individuals with deformities in their ears, individuals that look like them, but their eyes are black as nightshade. All of
It's like
stuff
something just being complete, like almost accurate, but just
almost
slightly
accurate, but
off.
something
Yup.
feels off. And obviously, with people in any society, that
Mandela
triggers
effect.
something weird in people because,
Uncanny Valley. Yep.
yep.
They're in general Mandela. Okay.
Well, well, it looks like these people are correct in what they claim.
So, in a sense, the Prime Directive has already been violated.
So it would seem.
With style, even.
I mean, is it even surprising? They seem to have had the disregard for the rules from the start, so I don't see anything new apart from us proving what's going on in here.
Is there so how is there a way to predict how long this current storm is going to last?
This current storm, just judging off of little bits of weather patterning that you can see, this storm's probably going to last another week or so.
Alright, so we don't have time to sweat this out. Our little whistleblower will be dead by the time the storm dies. Clarice is also sickness in character. I'm just not putting on the accent because I forgot to.
Commander, it looks like we're gonna have to go down to the planet.
I agree. We don't have much choice. We're short on time and we need to get our private out of there. And if we're able to, let's get as much information as what's going on down there and see if we can get a location on where this medical research is occurring. But our first priority is to locate our private and get her back on our ship.
Right.
Wouldn't it just be occurring on the ship on the station that
It's on the outpost on the dark side of the moon, yeah.
we could probably look at it through our window.
Well, she's thinking more along the lines of, are they isolating the research to one particular area of the civilization on the planet?
I see.
Oh, you meant on
or
the
is it-
planet, not where is the research occurring.
Yeah,
Okay,
she's
okay,
not.
sorry.
She's not as worried about the outpost as she is. Are they isolating it to one continent? Is it planet wide? That sort of thing.
All right.
But because her assumption is, in order to carry out whatever they're doing, they need a planet side lab.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For all of you, because of how plasma storms operate, especially ones this intense, perhaps a relief to you, Kavai, and you probably won't be joining on this, but transporters completely out of the question here.
Commander Hone, prep the shuttles.
Yes, sir.
Awkward question. Just want to clarify something. I'll be fine with this fucking computer in my brain, right? Clarice has a neural interface.
It should be fine. It might cause you a slight bit of discomfort.
Okay.
At least till you clear the storm.
Sort of like when you break a bone, you can feel the weather
Yeah, I was about to be like, I feel kind of weird going into an electrical storm with metal in my head.
Mira kind of rubbing her artificial eye. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be awesome. Amazing.
All right.
Personal opinion, I think this is a good stopping place.
Yes, the question I want to know really quick is who is going on shuttle, who's staying on ship, depending on how this is.
I'm flying the shuttle, so that's me.
Yeah, she's probably going to end up taking Commander Hone, Lieutenant Caraballo, and Ensign Loris, and she's going to leave behind Dr. Atherton and Petty Officer Kavai.
Okay, so
What if I give you puppy dog
Understood.
eyes?
Aww.
She wants Dr. Atherton's expertise back up on the ship as a backup.
okay,
She'll accept it.
all right. Who
Are you coming with? Is the commander coming with?
Yes, that is the question. Is the commander going with?
No. She's going to leave it up to those three and one other security officer.
All right, that'll probably
sure.
end up being Alec, but we'll see.
No. She's going to have Lieutenant Caraballo choose a second security officer. So it'd be a team of 4 going down.
Got it. Okay. With that being said, we will be stopping very soon here, but as just going to cut away as those individuals, the away team group, heads down and you kind of settle into the command chair again, now a little bit more anxious and knowing that there is time on the clock that is running out. About probably 10 minutes after the shuttle has left, Ensign Pren kind of sits up straight. Commander, we have a ship coming out of high warp.
Do what you can to keep us hidden.
Alright. As coming off the port bow on screen, entering into the centerline orbit between the moon and the planet, ignoring regulation a little bit, but perhaps seeing this vessel, it probably doesn't need to follow these. It looks like a Sovereign class vessel, except it appears to be covered in this black obsidian glassy hue to it. The nacelles are armored and covered, only showing out a kind of menacing dark blue. The deflector itself is also a kind of a dark blue color. And using a little bit of magnification, the ensign is able to see the ship's white lettering on this vessel. And this vessel's name is the Judicator. However, that will be for next week to deal with, as our crew has, at session 2, we've already split the party. But
Heck yeah.
thank you all for joining us tonight. It was a terrifying experience for me, and will continue to be so. But with that
You
being the
did great.
case, down below our Twitch link, we have YouTube as well, which hopefully this session will be uploaded within the next couple of days. I will try and get on that as soon as possible. We also have a Discord. That Discord, if you feel like jumping in, if you are not already a part of it, you are welcome to do so. Please follow the rules. I do take those seriously. But if you wish to take part in the RP as well, that is for our Ox crew, you are welcome to do so. as that being the case, for our fellow members who are RPing in our Discord or wish to, as of this moment, the RP section has become live. So you will be able to do that at any point in time. We will hopefully be starting a tiny bit sooner next week and have less technical issues. I welcome all of you there once again. But with that being the case, I so grateful to all of my cast, as well as the time and patience that everyone who has put effort into this project, the artists, everyone. With that, we will wave you all a good night, and we hope that, as of today at least, we've been, as I think I'm going to coin the phrase, I really hope that I have, and my cast and wonderful players have been a tiny bit, even if for a little bit of your day, a healthy little dose of R&R. See ya.